It's 7:40. Let's do this. Imagine 9 degrees warmer tomorrow than today. Okay. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. Well, we're talking about get ready, turning up the heat. Okay. I mean, it's going to feel like a page out of summer. That's one of the things I wanted to mention to you, because if you want to know where we were today, look no further than this map. It was 77 in Norfolk. In fact, it was 81 in Suffolk, 81 in Franklin, Wakefield, Emporia, as well as Jackson, Hosky, and Edenton. It's like 81 was like a popular number today, while our friends in Manio hit 78, and it was 76 in Wallops. But let me show you where we're going. Oh my goodness, it feels like summer when it feels like 95. It feels like summer on Saturday when it feels like 97. You didn't tell me it was going to be that hot. Oh, I tried to tell you. But then guess what? It goes down on Sunday and goes down on Monday. So we'll have 2 days, kind of like what we were just today and yesterday. We're going back there Sunday, Monday, but you got to get through some cold air conditioning, perhaps in your vehicle, in your home, or maybe hang out at the mall, or hang out at the grocery store or movie theater. There's some options. You've got lots of options. Now, why would it do this? Why would it go up and then go back down? Explain to me in like 30 seconds or less, Aldrich, why would it do that? It's because of this front. Right? The weekend front comes in pretty strong, and then it moves down and away. So by 1 o'clock Sunday, it's actually becoming more refreshing. It feels more comfortable. It feels like it did today. Maybe even feels a little bit cooler than today. It's all the eye of the beholder. Speaking of the beholder, I got a note from Kim. She's on here. She wants to say, hey, you were on point with that forecast, although this, I believe, was yesterday's comment. Thank you very much, Kim, for taking note. I'm doing my best. I just like to give the information out to you. You know what we're also giving away? We're giving away free pizza tomorrow. But in response of free pizza tomorrow from Marco's, you have to know, or at least it helps to know, the 5 locations, soon to be 6, of where you can get the free pizza. Because it's not every Marco's, although we have quite a few locations in the Hampton Roads and Tidewater area. But if you go to our webpage, WTKR.com/Marco's, it's not too late. If you've registered once, you don't have to keep doing it. But if you've done it once, it takes a minute or 2 minutes so we can get your address so we know where to send the certificate. What do you mean, what certificate? This is the pizza certificate. It's for a whole year. You get 1 large, 1 topping pizza monthly for a year. That's pretty cool. And like a punch card, now that we're in September, you'll still get some free pizza going into 2026 if you're a winner. And we're going to give away 10 free pies, individual pies as well. So I'm just very excited about the Pozzoli. It's a great lunch item. The Magnifico looks like this with the old style pepperoni. You might love that, but you can go to marcos.com anytime for that. Of course, you always want to satisfy your appetite. But I also want to mention to you the deal of the week. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you you could save a lot of money with one of their hottest products now. It's this Mike's Hot Honey. If you're not familiar, Mike's Hot Honey, I believe, has origins with Brooklyn, New York. Some guy in Brooklyn came up with this hot honey idea where it's not only honey, but it has some chili peppers in it. So you get a little sweet taste on the front end, and then as it goes down your esophagus, it kicks in with some chili pepper. It's really good. People are putting it on chicken and pizza, but you can get the medium $10.99 by simply using the promo code WTKR Sunny. WTKR Sunny is the promo code that'll save you some money, $10.99. So let me get back to the weather. You know, if you've got some other comments, I would do my best to put it on the screen. I got other notes too. Let's see. I guess Taj was mentioning too. He was mentioning that the ragweed. I've got the ragweed update too. So if you're wheezing and sneezing, you're not feeling 100%, maybe, just maybe, you have reasons to maybe limit your outdoor activity. Opening up the windows in the home or the apartment may not be the smartest move if you're letting ragweed in onto the sheets and the pillowcases, and then you're just feeling miserable. That's no fun either. But as I continue on, let me show you the satellite radar tonight. I don't see anything. No, not much, other than some model noise there near Hertford. It is quiet. It's quiet in Hatteras. It's quiet in Nags Head. It's quiet in Virginia Beach. It's quiet on the eastern shore from Cape Charles to Chincoteague. Not much to see. here. High pressure is just parked south of Long Island, and we've got some rain showers, scattered as they may be, moving about parts of the mountain state of West Virginia. I'm just going to update the post so I can get some comments that might be coming in tonight, because that's really important. I want to know what you're seeing, what you're feeling. Got some other notes here. Hopefully, I got a note from Jessica Lynn. She's on here. She's a regular viewer, but I want to say hi to Jessica. If we'll put her on the screen. She says, hey, First Warning Live. She's got the, I guess that's like a Canadian leaf. Maybe she's ready for fall. And now, poor Jessica is going to be shocked when we get to Friday and it's like near 90 and feeling like mid-90s. And Saturday, the same thing. So we're literally ripping a page out of the playbook of summer, and we're going to go back there because it's backed by popular demand. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you aren't a fan of summer, but maybe there's another weekend you can spend at the beach. You might love Saturday. Friday and Saturday look pretty good for beachgoers across the board. Let's talk about the headlines. As I'm looking at the ocean front, we had a high risk for rip currents today. There's still some chop on those waves coming in on the sand there, but it will be moderate tomorrow as we'll look at the beach forecast here in mere moments, but heating up near 90 by Friday and Saturday. I'm expecting a high tomorrow about 86. Today was 77, tomorrow 86, so there's the 9-degree bump from yesterday or today till tomorrow. It's kind of academic, but more humidity by Friday. Rain chances, there will be a few showers possibly Sunday, if not very late Sunday night or Saturday night. I think after 11 o'clock Saturday night, the chance of rain may go up slightly, but fall will return with fall-like temps next week. Speaking of pollen, it will be high again tomorrow, maybe a little bit lower on Friday, but really academic. Ragweed is going to continue to thrive until we get some really cold air. I mean, usually when you get your first frost, then the ragweed kind of retreats in a bigger way, but it does typically peak around Labor Day, and Labor Day now is in the rearview mirror. Do you know at 7:46, it's 74 in Norfolk? It's 71 in Virginia Beach. It's very comfortable. 72 in Chesapeake, 71 in Suffolk, and you can see temperatures are in the low 70s in Franklin, already dipping into the upper 60s for Jackson. I do see you're at 68, Jackson, North Carolina. A big shout out to you, and it's a comfortable 70 for Nags Head and Manio. Not a bad situation when you're looking at what is it's a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week, right? We have a dew point of 58. So even though the temperature is 74 in Norfolk, our dew point of 58 is comfortable. I don't think anybody's going to make too many big complaints in the weather department. Virtually clear skies, maybe a few clouds at Virginia Beach based on the METARs and those symbols you see highlighted here. Beach forecast is going to be moderate tomorrow with the rip currents, 2 to 3 feet for surf height, low tide. We talk about that a lot, usually an hour before, hour after, and anywhere in between. They could be enhanced. The rip current risk might be more intense during low tide, and that occurs just about 40 minutes before noontime tomorrow. But the water temp's very comfortable in September. One of the benefits is maybe less crowds, and temperatures about 86 tomorrow with a 5 to 15 mile per hour wind. Now, what if you get caught in a rip current? Talk about this quite a bit. I point this out for many reasons. Why would I mention this? Because people die. I'm not making light of that. People die. And in the last quarter of a century, we've lost 192 people. These people have names. They are on record. They have fallen short of being able to overcome a rip current. And it's also more than a tornado, flood, lightning, wind, tropical combined. You could add all those numbers, you're not getting to 192. So that's why I say it's so important to know what to do. And if you're visiting us from out of town, you're like, I kind of know what a rip current is. It's something you have to take seriously. Swim parallel to the shore to escape it. If you have to, float or tread water. And if you need help, call or wave for assistance. These are things that are very important. And we have a couple more summer-like days on Friday and Saturday where that might be very important to you. By the way, the 80% chance was just 70% last night. And the day before that, I believe, was 40. So we've gone from 30, 40 this week to 70. Now it's an 80% chance. What you're saying is X marks the spot. There's a high chance we're going to get a named storm here. I would say, yes, that's very likely. And the next name on the list isn't rocket science, it's Gabrielle. So this would probably be becoming Gabrielle. Right now it looks like a bunch of scattered thunderstorms. It looks disorganized, but this is probably still at least 8, maybe 10 days or more away from making a track or a pilgrimage toward North America. We'll have to wait and see. It's coming off of Africa, but Gabrielle would be the name to watch. And we usually show you this just to give you some timeline estimates depending on its track and movement. There are some other variables, but as a good guideline, when it's less than 2 days, as we knew knew Aaron was getting closer to Hatteras, about 200 plus miles, it was going to become a bigger problem, as it did with coastal flooding and, of course, other issues. But the hurricane forecast timeline has us at least 8 plus days out. Gabrielle, Umberto, and Imelda would in fact be the next names on the list. I got another note here from Taj. He's on here. I believe this is a new comment. He's saying, hey Taj, I got a trivia question for you. I want to see if I think you're 2 for 2. And for those of you who have been paying attention to the live stream this week since Labor Day, I've been putting up some trivia questions that come from our new newscast, because we do TV here too. The new newscast has had the trivia questions, and I'd like to be able to present them to you, the viewer, the live stream watcher. If you have a guess, you can put it in the comment, put your name on the screen. I'll see if you can get the, maybe you're 3 for 3. Well, we'll see how that plays out with me, Taj, but hang in there. I got that coming up here in mere moments. The timeline for Atlantic storms, we're a week away from September 10th. And as I've said before, that historically is when things tend to reach a fever pitch in terms of the Atlantic. Does it mean it always is that way? Maybe not always. So far, it's been kind of sleepy, right? We don't have a named storm. We have a 80% chance the storm gets a name soon, but September 10th is usually when things tend to reach kind of a crescendo in terms of the hurricane season. All right, no more delays. Here's the trivia question. Give props to our meteorologist, Tony Nargi, who worked the noon show today. What year holds Norfolk's record for the wettest fall? Repeat, what year holds Norfolk's record for the wettest fall? And when I say wettest fall, I'm talking about meteorological fall. So that's like all of September, all of October, all of November. Which of the 3 years? You got 3 choices: 2016, 1877, or 1999. Any takers? I'll give you a chance to put that in the comment. Let me know what you think. I'm looking at your answers. If you have an answer, I see one from Taj. He's saying 77. Any other takers out there? 1, 2, 3. I will see. It looks like Taj has his guess. He's 77. He is guessing way back in the archives, and he is correct. My goodness, Taj, you might be watching the news show, or you're just clairvoyant. I love the fact you got this right. We have 25¼ inches of rain set back in 1877. I believe that's back when Ulysses S. Grant was in the White House. Long time ago. You and I probably know him as the $50 bill guy. That's a long time ago, but we had nearly 25 inches, 24 I should say, in 2016. So just under 24 inches in 2016, a little more than 25 in the year 1877 during meteorological fall. So if you like history, a little buff, if you're a history buff, you might appreciate that too. Another note I want to share with you from our friends in Wakefield, the National Weather Service. Did you know the last 90-degree day typically occurs? It's an average. It usually occurs around the 8th of September. And this Saturday, when I have our last 90 for a while, maybe till next year, that'll be on the 6th. So it doesn't always correspond with the 8th, but the 6th of September is in fact this Saturday. 80-degree day, last one typically occurs a little bit before Halloween. And if you're a kind of a fact and figure type of person, you might appreciate our last 70-degree day will usually occur around the 9th of December. So I find these little stats and statistics quite interesting. And again, props to Tony Nargi for compiling a lot of this data, as he likes to look at the numbers in detail as well. Notice what we've got here, 77. This is for the second day in a row. This is 20 degrees below the record high of 97 set back in 1977, back when Jimmy Carter was in the White House. But the 77 was actually 7 degrees below normal. Normal high 84. So what if we were 7 degrees above normal? Because by the time we get to Friday and Saturday, I believe the record or normal is 83, and 7 on top of that would be 90. So we're going to be swinging the pendulum from 7 degrees below normal to 7 degrees above normal in a span of just like 2 or 3 days, thanks to the passage of this front. So if you look at our high temperatures today and yesterday, they match. We've had 3 below normal days for the meteorological start of fall. And if you go back to August, as I've mentioned, the numbers and the statistics from the Weather Service had this going back to the coolest in nearly 3 decades, going back to 1996. That's 29 years ago, a long time, in fact, the coolest in quite some time. We only had 2 days at 90 or higher for the entire month. That's pretty remarkable for sure. Let's see here. Who else is on here? Let's see here. Kim is on here. She's got a note. I think I'm going to fly in here. She's mentioning 1877. She said, I watched Blaine Stewart get it right today. It's interesting because Blaine is, as you know, he's had a health challenge. He had a heart attack and he's come back in what would feel like record time, given the type of heart attack he had, which was a very serious one. I mean, they're all serious, but the fact that he got the medical attention he needed was a miracle, and he is obviously a walking testimony of what it's like to recover. I think his story is going to permeate throughout the Hampton Roads in Northeast North Carolina, but you definitely want to tune into Blaine, as he is on usually the noon show, I think the rest of this week, and they'll be adding him into other shows as he's feeling stronger. But I'm glad he is back. He is an answer to prayer on so many levels. Norfolk's normal September high temperatures actually get back to the upper 70s typically by the time we hit the end of the month. As I mentioned before, 85 is here, 78 here, so that's a difference of 7 degrees. We typically see a 7-degree drop in terms of what's quote-unquote normal from the beginning of September to the end of September. Pretty remarkable. Now, the 90-degree average, as I mentioned, we started off pretty fast. It was April 6th, I believe. We had our first 90-degree day. Maybe our last 90-degree is September 6th. See how I connected those dots. April 6th to September 6th, 29 days. And if you look at these so far, yeah, it was April 6th, we hit 91 degrees, 2 in May, 12 in June, 12 in July. Hottest so far this year, I don't think we're going to eclipse that, was the 26th of June, we had 99. And of course, when the humidity was off the chart in July, some of these 96s in July, like the 8th and 9th, they felt like it was 105, 110. There were some really hot, humid days in the middle of summer. It wasn't until July or August came, I should say. August came in. It came in very wimpy in terms of the heat and humidity. August rainfall, another story I think is worth noting, is that we haven't had any measurable rain at the airport. For those of you who are maybe 5 miles east or west of the airport, so we haven't had it in 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we've had any measurable rain, which is kind of remarkable. Nothing so far this month, and we don't see much going on until later this weekend. But when you average 5.40 inches, that's normal for September. We're really working from a deficit in the last 30-some days, because average about almost 6 inches, 5.88 in August. We finished 4.25 below. We're running about 5.5 below for the year, and so far we've had 28.5 inches of rain and melted snow. That's it. And this time last year, we had over 41 inches with almost 13 inches more of rain at this time in the calendar. That's pretty remarkable. The difference is pretty stark. And if you are someone who keeps track of rainfall and rain gauges, some of you have had rain, whereas the airport hasn't. We saw some rain yesterday, maybe in the sections of York County, but there are some that have been very, very dry. I want to show you the drought monitor for a reason. This is from last week. And the reason I want to point this out is tomorrow, I suspect this yellow area is going to expand. It's going to grow. That's what I expect. The new drought monitor takes into account Tuesday's data, cuts off at 8:30 Tuesday mornings, goes through the supercomputer, which it does more than just did it rain. It takes into account a whole host of variables, including soil moisture and the rest, and then once it goes through the supercomputer, it gives us a better outlook of where the dryness is abnormally dry. We've had some hot dry spots in Middlesex County, northern Gloucester County, Tangier Island, Smith Island, all the way up into New England. So this is from last week. Every Thursday morning, it comes out around 8:30. So if this is on track, my suspicion is the yellow areas in Hampton Roads will get bigger, because it doesn't even take into account that it didn't rain yesterday, didn't rain today, but it did rain in many areas across the area during August, maybe in spots, right? We had flash flooding events in August, but not everybody has had much rain in and around the airport, hence that dryness is certainly there. All right, so let's go back, and I just wanted to show you this for comparison, because tomorrow I'll show it to you again and you'll get a better sense of how dry the problem areas are growing. Fort Lauderdale is under an extreme drought in red. If you look back toward Tennessee, there's some areas very dry in Loudoun County, Lenoir City, Loudoun itself, back toward Blount County as well. Go back to the west, South Texas, much of Arizona and New Mexico under the red areas of extreme drought, as well as parts of northern Idaho and the Rockies themselves west of Denver. So that's last week's drought monitor. Comes out weekly. We'll get a new update tomorrow. If you're in the military and you've got family far and wide, I wanted to show you where we've got severe weather tonight. If you're homesick, there's severe weather back toward Kansas. Looks like we've got severe weather in McPherson and Harvey County. Some of the threats there are described as destructive. What are you looking at? I'm looking at this. It says destructive, right? You got hail the size of 2.75, probably bigger than a golf ball, maybe closing in on a softball. That's pretty big hail when you look at all things considered, but you know, Kansas, they're a hardy bunch. They're probably used to severe weather, as some might suppose. Our ocean temperatures, 76, typically comes down in September. That's why it's still like bath water, but once you get into October and November, you might basically move on and say, yeah, I don't want to get my toes in the water. It's not worth it. Not anywhere much worth it beyond that. I got Kim on here. She's pointing out you were on that point with the forecast. Thank you, Kim. And if I got other notes in here, Taj is on here. He's also on here, and we've got Taj and Kim both sharing some thoughts and a conversation that might be unfolding. By the way, lows this morning did drop down to, what was it, 62. And I have my notes here, so I want to grab my notes. 62 degrees was our low temperature this morning, and that occurred as precisely 2:54 in the morning. Our high was 77. That occurred 1 minute before 5 p.m. The dew point, which will be creeping up Friday night, yes, it's going to climb, maybe not to 65 in a hurry, but by the time we hit Friday night, these current dew points, low 60s, upper 50s for some, will be rising from this point forward. The 24-hour dew point change has dropped a little bit, but as I mentioned, here's where I expect it to be by Friday night. You're going to start to sense it's kind of sticky out there. Upper 60s by Friday evening, low 70s by Saturday, and upper 60s by Sunday. By the way, it's 8:01. Just want to recap. We're going to be giving away free pizza tomorrow. If you're not on the list, I hope you are. Well, hopefully you'll be able to participate. We're going to give out 10 individual pizzas, which I'm excited about. We also have these locations, and you can sign up very easily if you go to WTKR.com/Marcos. Easy to win. You are randomly selected, but we're going to have those winners announced tomorrow. And I mentioned the deal of the week is, in fact, the Hot Honey Magnifico, which is a new item alert with Marcos using the promo code WTKR Sunny. All right, getting back to this forecast, just want to reiterate, this is not going to be a long-lasting type of, it's not really a heat wave, but it is going to be disruptive if you've not paid attention to the forecast. It's going to spike up. It's going to feel like it's about 95, 97. That's unfortunately what we're dealing with on 2 days, Friday and Saturday. Dew points right now don't look that bad, because we're going to be dealing with a southwest wind. That's where this humidity is going to be coming up from. It's going to be coming up from Birmingham. It's going to be coming up from Atlanta. And some of that moisture, water vapor, is going to continue to increase. Temperature right now in Knoxville, 77. It's 72 in Richmond, but 10 degrees cooler in Beckley. Our friends in Hatteras, 71. While Virginia Beach is looking good at 8 o'clock. On a Wednesday night at 69 degrees. No complaints here. Pick out your favorite town. I'm looking at the fact that there's possibility of maybe some stray flakes up here. Where you see blue, it's cold enough to snow. It's blue in the UP of Michigan. There's some really cold air up here, despite the fact that Minneapolis is at 61. At 5,000 feet, it will be cold enough for a flake to form. We'll see how that plays out. But it would be an early September snowflake surprise, as it were. Temperature outlook for September 11th through the 17th. This is mid-month. This takes you through the middle of September. If you're a planner, this is good news for the Denmarks and the Kim Thompson-Joneses of the world who like cool weather. I'm not sure if Taz is a big fan about the cooler weather, but certainly it is cool compared to normal heading down the road. And the future temperatures you see illustrated here really show that bluish color dipping down to the Great Lakes. That's some of the cool Canadian air that will hold or take hold across much of Quebec, Montreal, and eventually as we get into September 13th. Look at this. I mean, you don't need to be an atmospheric scientist or a rocket scientist to say this looks cooler to me than what's going on in Chicago. The cool weather will be here while the hot weather stays out west. It's just kind of the way it's going to play out most likely through the middle of September. So if you get this thinking, oh, it's hot again, it's only for maybe 2.5 short days, all things considered. By the way, it's 8:04. Here's my planner for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. Oh, it looks so good. We got a sunrise at 6:38, and with the winds 5 to 15, it's that southwest direction. It's a warm weather direction. It's going to push us up to 86, I think, tomorrow, which would be precisely 9 degrees hotter than it's been the last 2 afternoons. And with the sun going down today at 7:30 p.m., tomorrow it'll go down at 7:28, back to 72 degrees. Temperature trend, as I mentioned, even though it's 90 Friday and Saturday, it's all academic because it feels like it's in the mid-90s when you factor in the heat index. You've got to take that into account. Rain chances, really minimal, 10% tomorrow, and that comes in late. I don't see much on the Friday scenario. Even Saturday looks pretty quiet until probably well after dark. 11 o'clock Saturday night, 4 a.m. Sunday. I mentioned this time frame yesterday. Still think there's that possibility, but it really doesn't look like it's going to solve all that dries us, or it's not going to solve all the problems. It's not a panacea. It won't cure all that ails us in terms of dry weather. We will not see much in the way of rain the next, I think, even 7 to 10 days. Eastern Shore, though, 81 Bloxham, 81 Onancock, Chincoteague 79 if you're in Cape Charles tomorrow. How about a high of 80? 80 in Exmoor, 80 in Duck, low 80s for Manio, Nags Head, and Kill Devil Hills at 82. And then we're back to around 82 for Rodanthe, 80 for Ocracoke. Hatteras looks gorgeous tomorrow at 80 degrees. I've mentioned the Storm Prediction Center colors before because they are the legend that we use to kind of target where severe weather might be breaking out. And we saw one in Kansas tonight. Clearly, that's the hot spot. It's the yellow area here that's scattered, and it's situated right there in the heart of Kansas, stretching into Kansas City and just north of Springfield, Missouri. Dodge City is green. That would mean isolated severe storm chance through between now and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Outside of that, it looks pretty quiet across the rest of the country, as you can see illustrated here, and really not much to see in the Hampton Roads area. As I said, we have hardly much in the way of cloud cover even as I speak. Now, the threat tomorrow will expand into our eastern Tennessee neighbors. So East Tennessee, if you're watching, there will be some hot spots for you. Buffalo, back toward much of Pennsylvania, northern Delaware, D.C., but we can include Knoxville, we can include La Follette, Sneedville, Morristown, Newport, Kingston, Crossville. We can throw in Roane County, Fentress County, Jamestown. We can throw in Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, the Great Smoky Mountains. Everybody in this area is fair game for an isolated severe storm. Back closer to the Hampton Roads area, it's really west of Jamaica and west of Valley Lee, where there's some coloring here for late tomorrow night. But we'll include Roanoke. We'll include Lynchburg, Lexington, Charlottesville, and Richmond for the isolated, or at least the possibility of an isolated severe storm. You come back home, it's like nothing. We didn't get much. I mean, it barely covers northwestern sections of Middlesex County. If I'm looking at that right, yeah, there's not a whole lot of color. Again, these maps are drawn by the Storm Prediction Center, so arbitrarily, it just includes a smidge of Middlesex County. It's not much of an area that we have to be too worried about for tomorrow. And what about the severe weather threat Friday? It's a nothing burger. Nothing at all. So there's no severe weather anywhere as projected in the lower 48. Let's go through the futurecast for tonight. Obviously no cloud cover to be too worried about. Looks like we've cleared out at 11. Tomorrow morning, grab the sunglasses. It stays nice and bright. There could be a few clouds here at 12 noon, but with a south wind about 5 to 15, it picks up there at 13. That's 5 o'clock. This is why I say if you're going to be traveling west of I-95, there might be a stronger situation or stronger storm that forms. You see that in orange, maybe in yellow, well north of northwest of Williamsburg, and then it tries to come into I-95 by 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So this is why the Storm Prediction Center decided to put the labeling of isolated in green in those areas. But you'll notice it falls well short of getting into the heart of the viewing area here. Could see maybe a 10% chance in places like Sussex County, maybe into areas back towards Southampton, but we'll have to wait and see. It's really going to dry up or be moving into from drier air. By Friday night, it looks also quiet. As we head into Thursday morning, the sun will be shining brightly. What you're looking at is a picture of Cape Charles, beautiful. The love sign there, 61 in North Carolina for overnight lows, 62 south side, but there will be 50s if you're in Suffolk, for example. Low temperature tonight about 59, 58 at Hosky, 67 for Duck, And looking for a low in Gloucester at 61, Williamsburg at 63 degrees. Lows tonight should easily dip into the upper 50s for Murfreesboro, as well as Cortland, as well as Waverly. Thursday afternoon, low to mid 80s. That's a big significant jump, averaging or expecting roughly about a 7-degree bump tomorrow versus today and versus yesterday afternoon. But 88 for a high in Suffolk would not surprise me. 87 for Hampton, 86 for Elizabeth City, the harbor of hospitality, and beautiful Edenton. Edenton at 87 degrees for an afternoon high temperature on Thursday. Cortland, Gatesville, Hertford also around 87 degrees. Nags Head 81. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. It's now 8:09, finishing hopefully as much as I can on time. We got plenty of sunshine here. Then the 3 H's come back. Feels like summer right through Friday and Saturday. As I mentioned, this chance of rain is probably going to be really determining, or I should say maybe more focused on the other sections of the Outer Banks, or possibly north of Williamsburg. There's just not a lot of forcing here to suggest we're going to get any deluges. That's why I emphasized a few storms here. But then we're back to this mostly sunny pattern for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I put pleasant on Tuesday because we're starting off in the lower to mid 60s with a 77 finish. That feels pretty good, kind of like today. If you thought today was pleasant, I think you're going to like Tuesday of next week. But we'll be watching. By this time next week, we should have not only Gabrielle's name on the board, but we'll have a better chance to describe where that storm might be going in terms of the spaghetti plots. Those have not been generated yet, but soon they will. And once they do, we'll have a better sense of where at least the Hurricane Center thinks this might be migrating over the course of time. Still too early to tell for sure. Wanted to share with you some great pictures. Mike shares this great picture of Chesapeake Bay. We call it the happy shots. Beautiful sunset over the Chesapeake Bay, and another gorgeous one from Non-Win, Hampton Sunset at Grandview Nature Reserve. Don't you love the kayaker there? That just breathtaking. Thank you so much, Mr. Win. Appreciate that. And last but not least, our friend JL captured last night's moon. Oh yes, it's the waxing gibbous. About 75% last night. It'll be full technically on the 7th of September, which of course we know is on Sunday. So last night's moon from Chesapeake. Love the fact that she's got a very sophisticated camera to be able to capture all the nooks and crannies of the moon from last night. So if you're just joining us, here's the first warning weather forecast once again. 86 goes to 90, then 90. Then we're back in the mid 70s by early next week. We'll get through it as we do most every 7-day forecast. We'll get through it for sure. By the way, if you'd like to grab maybe pizza for a year, would you like to win? The easiest way to do it is to sign up for us. Go to WTKR.com with Marcos. Those winners will be announced tomorrow. We do it every Thursdays. And soon there'll be a new location opening up just a stone's throw from the Great Bridge Middle School. Not open yet, but we'll be opening up this month from what I'm told. And then the 757, there are 3 locations in Virginia Beach, 1 in Chesapeake, soon to be 2 in Chesapeake, but 1 in Norfolk. If you want to participate in the contest and get some free pizza, we want to be able to give it to you. There's also savings here. You could participate if you want. Go to marcos.com. When you get to the checkout window, use the promo code WTKR Sunny, and you can enjoy a medium, $10.99 medium from Mike's Hot Honey Magnifico. It is one of the hottest items that Marcos now has on their menu. If you haven't tried it, I think you owe it to yourself. If you love pizza, you might want to try that promo code and check them out tomorrow, tonight, what have you. I think they're open very late, usually most weekend nights. Pizzoli and Magnifico, the pepperoni Magnifico there for marcos.com. And just want to thank you for joining us on thanking our sponsor. The best way to satisfy your appetite is to go to marcos.com, sign up for pizza for a year by going to our webpage, WTKR.com, Marcos. Okay, so I want to thank you again for your patience. It is now 8:13. Very excited about the fact that we've got some variety in the forecast. You know, if every day is going to be 77, like it's been the last 2 days, it gets kind of boring. I like to mix it up a little bit. We'll get some heat and humidity in here, and then we can say, oh, I like it better the other way. So maybe there's something to be said about that. But anyway, very thankful for all of you. Remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or if it's serious. Every day is a gift, so make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow with some free pizza. Take care.